Imagine a world where the colossal Titanoboa never faded into extinction. This serpent, a prehistoric predator of immense proportions, dominated the Earth around 60 million years ago during the Paleocene epoch. Reaching lengths of up to 42 feet and weighing over a ton, it was not only the largest snake ever discovered but also a key figure in shaping its ecosystem. But what if evolution had kept working on this titan? What would our world look like with an even more formidable version of the Titanoboa slithering across it? To understand this scenario, we first need to explore what made the Titanoboa so extraordinary. It lived in a time when Earth's climate was far warmer and more humid than it is today, creating the perfect conditions for reptiles to thrive. The dense, tropical jungles of what is now South America provided ample food sources for this giant predator, from crocodile-like creatures to enormous fish. Unlike snakes today, Titanoboa didn't rely on venom. It used its sheer size and crushing force to overpower prey. But evolution doesn't just reward size for the sake of it. A larger Titanoboa in a modern ecosystem would need to adapt to new challenges. Over millions of years, this creature might develop thicker, stronger muscles to combat the gravitational strain of its own mass. Its constriction ability, already estimated to exert a force of 400 pounds per square inch, could become even more lethal. Such a predator would likely dominate the top of the food chain, altering the balance of power in ecosystems. Now, imagine the environments where the Titanoboa might evolve further. Today's tropical regions, like the Amazon rainforest, might offer the most familiar habitat. However, climate changes over millions of years could push this snake to adapt to new terrains, such as savannas, mangroves, or even coastal regions. In these settings, it might become a more versatile hunter, capable of ambushing prey both on land and in water. But how would humans coexist with such a predator? The presence of a hyper-evolved Titanoboa would pose significant challenges for human settlements, particularly in tropical and subtropical regions. Historically, humans have demonstrated remarkable resilience in adapting to large predators, from lions to crocodiles. However, a snake of Titanoboa's size and power would require a completely different approach. Its ability to silently stalk prey and strike with precision would make it a uniquely dangerous adversary. Modern infrastructure, such as dense cities and road networks, might deter Titanoboas from venturing too close to human populations. But rural areas, farms, and smaller communities near rivers or forests could find themselves in direct conflict with this enormous predator. Imagine farmers waking up to find livestock missing, only to discover a massive serpent digesting its meal nearby. In areas where humans rely on fishing, the Titanoboa could become a competitor, potentially depleting fish stocks in rivers and lakes. To mitigate these threats, humans would likely develop advanced methods of monitoring and deterring the snakes. Drone technology, thermal imaging, and sound-based repellents might become commonplace tools in areas where Titanoboas are known to reside. Conservationists would face a moral dilemma. Should such a creature be protected as part of the natural world, or controlled to safeguard human interests? Now, let's explore how Titanoboa might influence ecosystems on a broader scale. A predator of this magnitude would undoubtedly have a cascading effect on the food chain. Smaller predators, like jaguars and caimans, might find themselves outcompete, leading to shifts in their populations. Herbivores could also experience increased pressure, as they'd face predation from both existing carnivores and the Titanoboa. Over time, this could lead to changes in vegetation, as plant populations would fluctuate based on herbivore numbers. In aquatic environments, the Titanoboa's dominance could reshape ecosystems even further. Rivers and wetlands might become less hospitable to certain species, while others might thrive in the absence of competing predators. These changes could ripple outward, influencing everything from bird migrations to fish populations. But what if the Titanoboa's evolution went even further? If the Titanoboa continued evolving over millions of years, it might develop characteristics tailored for survival in a wider range of environments. For instance, in colder regions, an evolved Titanoboa might develop adaptations like insulating fat layers or a more efficient circulatory system to retain heat. Alternatively, in arid regions, it could become more resistant to dehydration, possibly evolving scales that minimize water loss and behavior that limits daytime activity. These adaptations could allow Titanoboa to expand its range far beyond its original tropical habitat. Imagine an apex predator capable of thriving in diverse ecosystems, from the African savanna to the temperate forests of North America. This global distribution would profoundly impact local wildlife and human activities. Let's consider its potential interactions with modern predators. In Africa, it could challenge lions, hyenas, and crocodiles for dominance, altering the dynamics of the savanna. In Asia, it might compete with tigers and large pythons, pushing some species to adapt or face extinction. Marine Titanoboas, if such a lineage evolved, could rival great white sharks and orcas in coastal waters. The sheer versatility of such a creature would make it one of the most formidable predators Earth has ever seen. However, evolution is not a one-way street toward dominance. The Titanoboa would also face challenges. For one, its massive size would require a significant caloric intake, meaning it would need access to abundant prey. In areas where food sources were scarce, populations might shrink or fail entirely. Additionally, human activity, deforestation, urbanization, and climate change could fragment its habitats, forcing it into closer contact with human populations. This could result in increased conflicts, potentially leading to the Titanoboa being hunted or driven into extinction once again. But what if the Titanoboa evolved traits to counteract these pressures? Could it develop a higher level of intelligence? Imagine a Titanoboa capable of strategic hunting, using advanced camouflage to ambush prey. It might learn to recognize patterns in human behavior, avoiding traps and exploiting opportunities. Over millions of years, some reptiles, like crocodiles, have shown surprising cognitive abilities. A more intelligent Titanoboa could become an even greater threat, adapting not only to its environment but also to the tactics of its prey. In such a scenario, humanity might have to rethink its relationship with nature entirely. Would we live in constant fear of this serpent, or would we learn to coexist? There's still more to consider. Let's delve into how the Titanoboa might shape culture, mythology, and technology in the modern world. A creature as awe-inspiring and terrifying as an evolved Titanoboa would undoubtedly leave its mark on human culture. Throughout history, large predators have influenced myths, legends, and religions. The Titanoboa would likely become the centerpiece of new stories, revered in some cultures and feared in others. In regions where the Titanoboa thrived, it could take on a godlike status. Tribes or communities living in close proximity to its habitat might create rituals or offerings to appease the serpent. Ancient tales of dragons or giant sea serpents might gain new life, with the Titanoboa as a real-world counterpart. Conversely, in modern urban societies, it might become a symbol of fear, the antagonist in movies, books, and art depicting humanity's struggle against nature's ultimate predator. But the Titanoboa's influence wouldn't stop at cultural myths. Its existence could inspire technological advancements. Scientists might study its physiology to develop new materials or biomechanics. For instance, its muscle structure could lead to breakthroughs in robotics, with engineers mimicking its powerful, flexible movements to create more efficient machinery. Its heat-sensing abilities, akin to those found in modern snakes, could inspire new thermal imaging technologies or medical advancements. Let's not overlook the potential for tourism and conservation efforts. The Titanoboa could become a global attraction, drawing scientists, adventurers, and thrill-seekers to its habitats. Nature reserves or its Titanoboa safaris might emerge, allowing people to witness the creature from a safe distance. However, this could also lead to exploitation, with poaching or illegal trade in Titanoboa-related goods becoming a concern. On a larger scale, the Titanoboa could serve as a symbol of Earth's biodiversity, a living reminder of how nature adapts and survives through the ages. Its presence might inspire greater efforts to protect endangered species and preserve habitats, as people recognize the importance of coexisting with such formidable creatures. Yet, with great fascination comes great risk. How would governments and societies respond to the potential dangers posed by this snake? Would it be hunted, contained, or even weaponized? In military contexts, a creature like the Titanoboa could be studied for its unparalleled stealth and strength. While the idea of using such an animal as a weapon might sound like science fiction, history has shown that humans are willing to exploit any resource to gain an edge in conflict. On the other hand, ethical considerations and international agreements could push for the Titanoboa's protection, classifying it as a species of global importance. Let's take a step back and think about the long-term implications. Could the Titanoboa, if left unchecked, eventually outcompete other predators to the point of destabilizing ecosystems? If the Titanoboa became a dominant evolutionary force, it wouldn't just influence ecosystems and human societies, it could reshape the trajectory of life on Earth itself. Over millions of years, the presence of such a powerful apex predator might push other species to evolve in response. Predators in its ecosystem might evolve greater intelligence, strength, or speed to avoid being outcompete. Herbivores might develop new defensive mechanisms, such as thicker skin, enhanced agility, or even behavioral adaptations like traveling in larger, more coordinated herds to deter attacks. Birds of prey could evolve to monitor Titanoboas from above, ensuring they stay out of the serpent's reach. Interestingly, the Titanoboa's evolutionary trajectory might not stop at sheer size or strength. If food sources dwindled or environmental pressures increased, smaller, more agile subspecies of Titanoboa could emerge. These snakes might retain their ancestors' powerful muscles but trade mass for speed, allowing them to hunt more effectively in diverse environments. But the evolution of such a predator could also be a double-edged sword. If the Titanoboa became too dominant, its impact on prey populations could lead to ecological collapse. For instance, overhunting of large herbivores could cause a cascade of effects, including overgrowth of certain plants, habitat loss for smaller species, and even changes in soil and water quality. Ecosystems might struggle to recover from such imbalances, potentially creating a world with fewer species overall. From humanity's perspective, coexisting with an apex predator like the Titanoboa would likely require major societal and technological shifts. Urban planning in areas near Titanoboa habitats might include fortified barriers or exclusion zones, while transportation routes could be designed to minimize interactions with the snakes. Governments might fund research into non-lethal deterrents, such as sonic or chemical repellents, to protect both humans and the Titanoboas themselves. At the same time, the Titanoboa might spark a new era of scientific fascination. Researchers could study its biology for insights into ancient ecosystems, climate adaptation, and even medicine. The snake's incredible ability to regulate its body temperature and thrive in extreme environments might lead to breakthroughs in human health or survival technologies. And then there's the question of space exploration. Could a creature like the Titanoboa inspire humanity to consider the potential for alien life? Its sheer size, power, and adaptability might remind us that life on other planets could take forms we've never imagined. Who's to say there aren't Titanoboa-like creatures lurking in the jungles of distant worlds? As we reflect on this thought experiment, it's clear that the Titanoboa represents more than just a prehistoric predator. Its hypothetical survival and evolution highlight the delicate balance of life on Earth and the complex interplay between species, environments, and human influence. So, what if the Titanoboa never stopped evolving? The answer lies in a blend of fascination and caution. While such a creature would undoubtedly captivate our imaginations, its existence would remind us of nature's power and the responsibility we have to coexist with the living world. What do you think? Could humanity adapt to a world shared with a predator like the Titanoboa, or would it forever remain a threat to our survival? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more explorations into the wonders of science and imagination.